welcome back to Collateral Damage. It's another great day in the Bluegrass for a battle report. Today we have playing
Seth playing Khymaera.
And
William Loy playing Dusk.
Alright, let's get right into it. Seth, what are you playing today?
Alright, today I'm playing Nyxyan, the Stygian Coil, and I've got Execration and Watcher racked. And we've got 2 Kaiju, Drakions, base, because they have no options, 3 Hydrix, all kitted out the same. The head is Diviner, 2 flame spray heads, and spine back for the back piece. Got a Wraithwing Paragon, 1 unit of Quick Fang Windstrikers, 2 Death Talons, Talon Lashers. The cards are basic, just whatever it threw at me, because I always forget to use them anyway. So Blessing of the Gods, Breakthrough, Hit and Run, Lucky Penny, and Put the Fires Out.
Alright, I'm running Hellyth. It's probably my second game with her, so I wanted to try a few different units. I have an Eidolon in her battle group, Carver with the Warboar, Diasis for buffing, Kruger, a couple of Mage Hunter commanders. I have Dreadguard Archers, Dreadguard Cavalry, Mage Hunter Assassins, a unit of Mage Hunter Rangers, and a unit of Blade Masters and Guardians. I have Battle Lust and Invulnerable Resolve racked. As far as cards, mostly the only one I would say stand out is defensives, and I'm running 2 walls.
Today they're playing Scenario 1 Color Guard. This has 2 50mm objectives, 2 caches, and 2 flags. Starting with the second player's second turn, each player earns victory points as follows. At the end of each scoring round after points are scored, starting with the first player, each player places their opponent's flag on a piece of terrain within 5 inches of the last scenario terrain piece not already used for the scenario by either player. If no terrain piece is valid to be placed with a flag, do not move the flag. The flag remains in a location until the end of the game. You store 1 point for the objective, 2 points for scoring the cache, and 2 points for the scenario terrain. You win the scenario by having 3 or more points than your opponent at the end of your opponent's turn.
Alright, Khymaera Deployment. Will actually won the roll and made me go first, so the main plan here was, as I was checking out to see where his defenses were, trying to figure out what his game plan was, and without anything deployed on his side, I just figured I'd run straight up the center, use that forest the best I could with the availability of Pathfinder that I have, and kind of set up the main battle group in the center, put the 2 Drakions on the side, use the extended control range to put them over on that cache, and try and prevent him from getting to it. And then this is actually probably the fewest units I've run in any list so far, so I was just trying to spread them out. Honestly didn't know where to put them, and hoping that this was more of a generic deployment.
Dusk Deployment. Alright, so I seen that he'd mostly set up center mass. He had some Lasher threats on one flank and Death Dealers on the other. So I set up to kind of counter that. Put the pig in a spot where he'd have a nice firing lane as he moved forward. Set everything up kind of center mass with Hellyth's feet. It's a little short range, so I need to make sure that she has good coverage. Plus, I didn't know where he was going to end up fortifying up at. So just kind of setting up, waiting to see there.
Khymaera Advanced Deployment. I got 1 unit here, just the Quick Fang Windstrikers, setting them up in front of the Death Dealers so I can take advantage of their doing 1 point and getting the extra dice on the Death Dealers.
Okay. Alright, for my Advanced Deployment, I had just the Mage Hunters forward deploying with Kruger, setting them up a good spot to hopefully give some early game threat, or at least zone out certain areas since they can be a little bit of a pest. And putting the Guardians up to hopefully get a good charge off with Battle Lust maybe later on.
Khymaera Turn 1. Alright, doing lots of thinking here. Trying to figure out where the best position is to move everything up, since Will did make me go first. Don't want to be too aggressive, but I know that if I don't move up far enough, then he's gonna push me back. So just trying to get in a good position to where I'm at his maximum range, get a little bit of cover. Really debating. I made his cav prey, so whether to bait, if I run some stuff up and bait him up to me, that way I can start attacking him and getting the bonus. In addition to that, we did also cast Watcher and Admonition. Watcher on my caster, Admonition on one of the Drakions. That way I can at least try and pull some movement shenanigans out and get some extra range if he decides to move everything straight towards me. Make those turn 2 charges just a little bit easier. And now you're going to see I'm going to get real aggressive. Like, I wanted to use that forest when I deployed. And that was the whole plan. Get up there, hide behind it, be aggressive, and basically just run everything else up there and turtle. And continue to play the center of the field, not knowing exactly where Will's going to go. Being real anal about that Paragon and that 3 inches on the minus range, trying to keep Carver and the boar from tearing me up there.
Dusk, turn 1. Alright, so you can see here I've got some of his threat ranges pre-measured out for both shooting and charging. I just started to move my men up on flanks, kind of get in positions to be able to score and hopefully hold some map control. His army being pretty high armor and fast with long spray threat ranges means that it's very lethal to my low armor models at least. So this is mostly just setting up to be in more of a defensive position to hopefully control the board in later turns. I do cast Admonition on Hellyth. I then cast Battle Lust on the Guardians to hopefully set them up for a pretty meaty charge. And Vonnie will resolve on the Blade Masters. Maybe I'll have them screen or something at the time, but honestly, I don't know what I was thinking. Here I kind of shoot myself in the foot a little bit. I should have moved Carver first. I don't know why I didn't, but it ended up partially blocking some movement there of how I originally wanted him going. Full bore, as it says on the card, but we like to call it whole hog around here. So we kind of change up the plan, move him a little bit center field. I probably will come to regret this later on. Carver does cast Quagmire on the Warboar, as well as batten down the hatches on himself. I think the original plan was to have vulnerable resolve on the single unit of cavalry I had, but when I deployed them too far apart. This is just a mistake looking back on it now.
All right, in between turn 1 and the start of 2. So we were sitting here discussing it. But I think I'm happy with where I'm sitting, mainly because I don't know that I had much of a choice going first. Move up to the center. Just try and prepare for turn 2, expecting Will to run everything onto the objectives to keep me from just running up and sitting on them and scoring them. But he doesn't necessarily do that. He kind of
I don't think
back.
I had the model count to do it, honestly. Once I seen your wave, you can see there the wave of war beasts. I was kind of like, okay, well, I won't survive any form of direct confrontation, so I was just like gonna mostly try to play this a mid-ranged. There was some concern of Seth killing Carver. We had discussed it previously. I think that was maybe one of his possible battle plans going into turn 2.
Oh, I was terrified of Carver.
Yeah.
I'd seen people play him and haven't played against him, and then asked Will pre-game what he did, and I was like, okay, so yeah, you're gonna start nuking things, and I just wanted to castle and stay away from him. And then he moved him into the center of the table, and I was like, oh crap, what am I gonna do now?
And remember, if you too are afraid of Carver, make sure you hit the subscribe button. The big bad pig won't get you.
Khymaera Turn 2. Alright, trying to figure out what Will's game plan is here. He wasn't aggressive. Not exactly sure what he wants to do. Just doing some housekeeping here with the spells. Admo and Watcher still up. Did cast Execration just to make sure that I'm going to have to get up there. I want to give him the -2. Plus, I know that Will's got a couple ways around that, too, to counteract the -2. So I just don't want him to be hitting on anything better than his regular mat. Basically, spreading out. I don't want to be aggressive now either, since he didn't move up. Would not have been a great feat turn. I didn't have the range with all the sprays. I measured it a bunch of times up the center of the battlefield, seeing what I could get. Don't like Kruger sitting there, and I think I had where I could get all 3 of the Hydrix on Kruger and maybe hit one guy behind him. So ended up not doing that. So instead, the game plan became on the side, running all of the strikers up, just tying models up, trying to keep Will from moving up the table. Not staying at max range, but staying far enough away that I could sit on that one objective on the 50 mil, score it, make him have to come to me to take those guys off the objective.
You can really see where my ADHD kicks in here. It's hard for me to stay still, viewers.
Yeah, deciding I was probably, well, not too aggressive with my Warlock turn 1, but now that Will did move up, a little worried that he might be able to get to her. So moved back a little bit, continuing to just try and screen out, putting stuff on the objectives, force Will's hand turn his turn 2, basically, and trying to mitigate my losses.
Alright, Dusk turn 2. Alright, so started off upkeep Bloodlust Ammunition, dropped our off the Blade Masters. Carver up kept Quagmire. Just taking care of that, allocating my focus. Don't expect the Jacks to do too much here, mostly just be around. Might get some damage from the Warboar. So we'll start off with Hellyth. I think my plan here was, like, in general, with ammunition on Hellyth, just to move up, feet, maybe shoot some stuff, knock off some spells with Dispel, and then, like, admonition back if I'm threatened. looking back on it, probably not the best plan considering how squishy she was, but that's at least at the time.
Her feat is pretty devastating if you get caught into it.
Yeah. The -2 to hit and armor, or the defense and armor of your opponent, then +2 to your own for a full round. Puts her in a pretty good position, as well as puts his army. She walks up, she drops admonition off of the, what was that thing said?
Off the Drakion.
The Drakion, okay.
Yeah.
And
nukes a dude.
Yeah, nukes a dude.
One of the death dealers.
With Life Trader, she can hit pretty hard, rolling 4 damage die. I have some, this turn you'll notice I have some very hot damage die this game. Okay, you see there, 666s, a 5, 6, yeah, it's like, so there's some pretty spiky rolls there.
We're going to check your dice.
It's those Baron of Dice, man. They roll well. Alright, so having a little struggle figuring out my order of operations here. I've not gotten many games under my belt with Hellyth, but we're getting there. So I'm setting up right now the cavalry. I'm deciding if I want to charge them in to finish off these guys. They do a good job at charging, killing what they are. Kind of wish I'd put maybe invulnerable resolve on them. If I'd done this a little bit different order, but it is what it is.
Checking execration there constantly, just to see where you were at -2.
Here, me checking some of the stats. I get a little confused. A lot of numbers to keep up with.
I think to nobody's surprise here, though. I mean, those cav charge in, and you
Cav
pick the
mostly
3
whiff
dudes
them.
up. Yeah.
I was hoping they were going to be kind of like a speed bump for that flank, ideally. Maybe they survive, maybe they don't. So it's kind of hit or miss, depending on what his battle plan was. Just trying to gain some control of the board. We got a reposition 3 here. Alright. Next, I'm setting up, just make sure I'm within feet and stuff like that. Here's where I messed up. See, right there. I should have double checked, and yeah, so Seth being the kind person he is, and us being this more of a casual game, he let me take that back. Not getting gotcha'd. But I do make that mistake later on. So now put the +2 damage debuff from Diocese from Kiss of Lilith on the Dracon. Just to set up for hopefully like trading a 6-point unit of Soulless for it, ideally. Kruger moves up. I'm going to have him clear.
Yeah, we had lots of debate here on whether him bouncing and blowing up or moving up and spraying was the best option.
Yeah. So yeah, we move him up kind of to be like a frontline defensive piece. Decently tanky against his stuff. But mostly here I'm trying to put the Fear of God in him by hitting his caster. Hopefully these high damage rolls go, and I mean they were pretty solid. I think the high damage rolls though ended up being more on the what? No, they were on the caster because you transferred them off, didn't you?
Yep. Yeah, you did. I think it was like 5 or 6 to the Warlock, and then
transferred off quite a bit.
Transferred off to a Hydrix. Surprisingly enough, I mean, Kruger was as terrifying as he usually is for me. He was the least of my concerns here. He kind of moved up, did a little bit of chip damage, but
yeah. I mean, the second shot did do 12 damage to a Hydrix.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it did chunk something. Charged up the Mage Hunter Commander. He doesn't do much, kind of whiffs on his attacks with Weapon Master, and then shoots and ends up doing 5 damage, which is a surprise. So yeah, you can see probably missed that Weapon Master attack. That might have been what it was. It was something close. It was a little bit of disappointment there.
You might have been laughing because you had just rolled another 10 on damage.
Oh, that's what it was.
Yeah, and it was like
damage.
5 or 6 rolls in a row where you rolled 10 plus on damage.
Yeah,
it was good.
You did so much damage to his Hydruxes and his caster during this. It was blowing my mind. I think by the end of this turn, everything was hurt.
Yeah, that closest, the farthest forward Hydrix. So like on the top side there, the left of my Warlock, I think had like 4 boxes left or something, but you ended up not having anything that could get within range.
So this is where I charge in the Mage Commander, yeah. Whiff on its charge attack just to do a little bit of damage with its spear gun. Or spear cannon, whatever that little D3 Paladins are. So to fully commit and kill it, I had to then throw in a unit of Guardians with Battle Lust on them. This is me shooting all my little attacks. I think why that charge was a little delayed is we were reading the rules on a cloud terrain just to make sure it could, the model inside, we had line of sight to it. And then I charged in. This is where the dice get even a little sillier, as in the first guy's battleless charge. He hits, and yeah. He removes a model.
Deletes me with the first guy.
Yeah, Paladin attack just kind of rolled very spike down, almost max damage. You could have dealt with it in that scenario. And again, rolled a 13 even right after that. So his 2 Paladins, I think, might have cleared them. Yeah. Yeah, you can see that model got pulled back there. I can't remember, did I use hit and run, or was it the battle plan from the Mage Hunter Commander, which gave him Repo 3? One of those sources gave him Repo 3, and so I was just trying to get him in there, gum up his side of the board to where he wouldn't have any good like charge lanes or anything on me. Charge my Blade Masters in, which triggers his ability I'd been watching out for. Which he then moves up there and tries to do some shenanigans here with this Hydra.
I figured since the admonition was gone, I'd use Watcher, because he did get a model within range of my Warlock. And I'm like, oh yeah, this is perfect. All his guys are in a line. Let me move up, spray, kill them all, and then proceed to, I think, kill 1.
Yeah.
1 out of 4 or so in the line there. So not as planned, but I did kill the guy, so I was able to move the 2 inches backwards where it was.
This is where my Blade Masters kill the second Drakon?
Kaiju?
Yeah, Kaiju.
Yeah, they
it's
did
a lot of PAL 12 attacks. At -2 armor, it can be pretty threatening.
Yeah, it's funny because I think it was like, instead of 1 dude killing the first one, it took 2 this time, but still very effective.
Just position my Jack by running him up. Trying to threaten the middle of the board. Pretty much trying to put the rest of my army in his army's way of getting to my caster for the most part. So... pre-measuring his threat to my very squishy mage hunters. They're pretty decent at taking out light infantry, but here they're mostly used for cleanup or just staying on a back objective. Me trying to set up Carver. I realized that most of his stuff is out of threat, so I'm unable to really effectively use them. Seth's done a good job here counter setting up for Carver's damage, or I guess Warboar's damage in this case. But we do get a little bit. And then after all this, Carver will move up and cast Batten down the hatches.
Yeah, I think your plan was to move up and shoot, and then we decided that, well, once we realized that the Paragon was still making you -3 range on your guns, you ended up running.
Yeah.
Just to continue to try and block me off that objective.
Yeah, I didn't really have much choice here with my caster so forward. Trying to keep board control. Just had to kind of prepare and hope my feet lasted or weathered through the storm. Here's where I realized I could do some little sneaky stuff. I play the Unstoppable card and pull back my unit of archers. I think it's called Deathly Domination, and proceed to get pretty good rolls on it. This unit in the past hasn't done well for me, but it's starting to, I think as I get more games in, I'm really starting to see how useful they are. But ended up killing most of that unit.
Yeah, we really weren't sure what to do here with the attacks, so I rolled my own attacks against myself. I'm sure somebody will comment down below as to whether Will's supposed to roll them or you roll them against yourself, but my guys did a really good job killing each other.
Yeah. They're fairly high defense, but I don't know if I rolled below a 7 or so. 7 or 8 the whole time shooting them. Or even a 10.
Yeah,
I think all these rolls have been 10s so far.
Yeah.
So.
Well, and we had a discussion there too, because that last dude on the edge of the table, since they have stealth, was out of range. So it was a discussion there about which one to shoot and who to have walk over and attack who. Mm-hmm. But worked out. You got them all.
Scored 3 to Seth's 1. Just mostly seeing if I'm going to survive his clapback.
Did a good push. Moved up, pushed me off all the objectives. So I don't sure if my screening units did what they were supposed to. I mean, I'm happy to put stuff up there and then at least force Will to come in, even if I lost the units. That way I've got stuff in range of all the sprays to shoot at them. So we'll see what happens. Going into Khymaera Turn 3. Alright, lots of debate here. The plan being, Will's just got too much stuff sitting in front of me. His caster's sitting right there. So I make a decision to not upkeep anything. Pull all the fury back and try to kill his caster. I mean, I don't think I'm going to be able to use the prey on the cavalry, so I decided to switch the prey, activate my warlock, switch the prey to his caster, checking some ranges. We were doing a lot of debating on fury caps on the Hydrix, and I first needed to kill Kruger, I believe. And so we were trying to figure out if I needed to do that.
See my whole hold up there, Chief.
Yeah.
Move. This is where I kind of mess up. I should have pulled directly back Part of me, I think, originally thought I was going to be able to get behind that wall, but I had pre-measured kind of shitty. Alright. But then I realized, oh yeah, he's got sprays. They don't care about that wall. So I just tried to pull as far away from the rest of his... kind of tunnel visioned here. I was trying so hard to not be within range of the rest of his hydras. I moved closer to his caster, so he was able to get I think it was a charge off.
No, I was able to move up and spray through your other unit.
Oh yeah.
Target the unit that was in combat there.
Yeah, it was the angle. Yeah, I gave him a better angle for his spray because I moved over. If I'd have just gone straight back with my original plan, I might have survived. It was still...
Yep.
Could have been a different game.
We do make a small mistake there. I take the 2-inch movement after the first spray, and we end up fixing that because you only get the movement when you kill something.
Yeah, we later found out that Swift Hunter was not on hit, but on kill.
Yeah. So we do end up moving the Hydrix back away from the wall here in a second. But either way, I did get quite a bit of damage. I think you had 1 focus left on you, so you transferred the first bit of damage. The second spray did, I think it was like 7 or 8 damage. And now we were debating here how much it would take. I was fully committing. There was no going back at this point. I had no option. It's either kill you or your full army pile into me. So
yeah, with what he'd done so far mentally, I'd pretty much just already have realized the loss and the mistake here.
All right, we're lining up the spray off the Warlock there, just trying to make sure we get the right line. I knew from what the Hydrix did, it did 9 damage and 8 damage, and Will had 2 focus on him and was able to stop 5 each time. So I had 2 opportunities here with my Warlock, enough Fury to cast the spray twice. Ended up boosting attack and damage roll, and got the last bit of damage there on his Warcaster.
Yeah, I greatly underestimated the threat of his boosted damage rolls for those Khymaera and the ability to hit an underfeet Hellyth. So, yeah. Should have definitely played cagier there. That is a problem I have. You'll probably see it in future battle reports as I'm like to play the game and not set back, but sometimes you got to set back to play the game. So...
Well, I mean, compared to our first couple games, too, it's like we debate about whether to go first or second. Mm-hmm. And I think with your army, I still think it was the right choice because, you know, if you get the opportunity to score first against me and you didn't get aggressive, which normally it's like, oh, I need to score first, so I need to throw everything up on the objectives. Yeah. But you didn't, so then I had to make some decisions. And then it came down to our normal game of, all right, well... You're basically going to obliterate me, and you've left me with no choice. So then I've got to move up and caster kill you.
Yeah, I hear that a lot, but it doesn't make it feel any better when you get caster killed.
But yeah, I mean, sprays are good with this Warlock. I'm not sure that they're good with any of the other Warlocks right now for Khymaera. But I mean, when you can just switch your prey, and now all of a sudden it's +2 to hit, and your Hydrix can actually hit and wound and do damage to everything. It's a lot of fun. It's oops all sprays.
Yep, and sprays not even once for me.
All right, that wraps up episode 3. We'd like to thank everybody for watching this battle report. Please like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.
Don't forget to hit that bell.